Alrighty. Hello and good morning. This is video 739. It is March 13th, 2021, and I just wanted to do a post-cytoscopy. Probably should have figured out how to say it. The scope, my post scope. Quick video. And definitely this is the end of Project Haggis. The ended a couple days ago, but I just want to talk a little bit about what happened. Just for your own, if you want to know what happened if you get scoped. It was very short. Walked in and they said, keep your shoes on. Just, you might want to take off your skirt. And they're going to, they put a little bit of, they clean the area with some iodine. And then they put some numbing. It looked like a big syringe of jelly that was basically some sort of numbing agent. I don't know what it was. Didn't matter. And they squirted it on me. And they gave it a good 10 minutes to work. And they came in, introduced, hi, it's good to see you. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Do you have any questions? Are you ready? Blah, 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 blah. And basically gave me a bath. Felt like it was like a reverse bidet. Just a lot of wet, cold fluid. And what he was doing was, putting the device, I guess I use my pen here, up to the opening, in my case, urethra opening, uh, and then flooding it full of liquid to, make it, a tube, and then it would go in and he could look around and, make sure everything was okay, and then back out again. And then he did the same thing to the vagina canal, flooded it full of liquid, which he didn't really need to do, but flooded it full of liquid, went back as far as he could go, and came back right out. I mean, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes with the pep talk at the beginning. It was just very quick. It was over very, very fast. And he let me know that, there was not a blockage. There was some issues with my urethra and the metis. I'm not a doctor, but basically the opening and a little past the opening that would lead to problems down the road with, I believe, what they call a stricture. It's basically just a closing, of and that's happened to me after my surgery. I had to go back and get a correction done because it was collapsing, So hopefully, if insurance and everything all works out, I will have a third corrective surgery. um, or really second corrective surgery, third surgery total. Hopefully in the next couple months. It's not a crisis. It's not an emergency. It's just a preventive measure. It's also going to correct the angle. The previous surgeon um, does the angle kind of like that, and so when you pee, you go this way, and what he's going to do is kind of fix it so it goes down. So when you're sitting on a toilet, it shoots into the toilet. As a normal, I hate to use that word, as a as it was originally designed by the creator, for women to sit on a toilet and pee down into it, not out like a hose. Um, and he also said that one of the problems that I have is the opening in the urethra is so close to the clitoris that it's all kind of bumbled up together, um, and I'm fat. So then you have body fat over it. So it's like it's not, nothing is exposed. And if you wish to please your partner, you definitely want to know where the bits and pieces are, and you definitely want to be able to have access to them. And so that's going to help out there. He also said aesthetically, visually, it's going to look more, more, again, as the creator intended, for women and vaginas to look. It's going to look a little better. And it's not going to be a laboplasty. Okay, we're not adding lips. We're just moving it where it needs to be. And then as for the canal, um, the concern was that the tube, had some sort of, closure to it. And so, as you dilate, you would hit this blockage and say, "Oh, my vagina is only an inch," you know, and in my own fault, I have to claim ownership for it. I stopped dilating. Um, but it happens naturally too in the other factors. But the idea being is if it was a blockage, then we could go in there and kind of rotor it, however they would do it, and then you'd get the full depth. And in this case, there was no blockage. It's I got a small tube, I had a small thing to work with, and so I got a small tube. So I can only have compact cars in my garage, as the saying goes. Um, and he said that there are surgeries that could correct it. However, there is a bit of a problem because you're, that tube they put in there is pushing up against your rectum, and you don't want to mess with the rectum system. You know, if you think about when you go to the bathroom, you're squeezing those muscles, and if you go into this system with this system, um, it can lead to problems, much more problems. So I would rather keep the poop going in the poop direction and the pee going in the pee direction, and I'll just live with a smaller, like I said, compact cars only. I was blessed with a small one. Maybe my future husband will have a small one. I don't know. I'm hoping someday. It's they say there's someone for everyone. You just got to meet him or her or them. So we'll see. We'll see. And that, in a nutshell, is it. And so, yeah. So, so Project Haggis is over, and I will remain. He did ask me. He said, "What's your dilation regimen?" And I said, "Well, it's about an hour and 15 minutes every day." And it's true. It's true. I give a full 15 minutes to every dilator I have. I have five, and I know that previous people I've talked with, like, well, why do you start with the smallest one? Why don't you go with the medium and just hold it? And here's why. I'm glad you asked. Um, okay, this is me. This is me. Cut it and give a pane view. Okay, cutaway view. Um, cutaway view. Probably we could still do that, but anyway, cutaway view. Okay. Uh, we got to get into that little hole, and through time, love, and tenderness, and a shitload of lube, um, we got to make it a little wider, a little wider, a little wider, a little wider. Okay. And it's not because of something I did, although you could kind of say not dilating, but let's not go there. We're just pointing fingers here. It's just part of the surgery. If you took a sock and cut the tip off, turn it inside out, like they do with the tissue of penis, and then sew the end of it back up again, you know, uh, I don't have anything I can show you with. Anyway, just imagine, a sock, and you clench it, and you have all that fabric coming together where the knot is. And so, yeah, I literally am hitting the back of that knot. It's you can't go anymore. It's pushing up against my rectum. So we literally are working into that knot, finding a place where it, is scrunched together. I guess it's more like that. Think about it, like a sphincter, I guess. Um, and you know, that little itty bitty smallest dilator can get in there. Okay. And I can feel it. I mean, it's like plugging a cable into a jack. I can feel it go in there. And basically what's happening is over time, as we're increasing that diameter and diameter and diameter. Okay, I'm getting whatever space I can get, and then we go to the next one. Work it open, get a little bigger, jaws of life. Okay, that's the goal, right? Is to get as much as we can get in there. That is the goal. And from what he sounded, it's a natural process. And he again he was very honest and open with me. He said, "I can't promise anything," and I said, "No, I understand. It's a crapshoot. It really is. It really is." And I posted on Facebook, and I think it's very important to get that out there to anyone who's considering GCS, or surgery of any kind. But really, as far as GCS goes, um, everyone's results may vary. And there's a chance that you'll lose all sensation down there. There's a chance of a complication. I mean, it's just you just don't know. It is roll the dice and you get what you get, and then you might be able to try rolling the dice again if you have an opportunity to do some sort of corrective surgery. Um, but I think we need to be realistic about it. That your results are going to be vary. There's no guarantee. Um, and there's so many variables. And another thing I thought about was, initially, I was so preoccupied with I got to have surgery, I got to have surgery, how am I going to have surgery? How am I going to have surgery? And, uh, my GCS was almost $100,000 when you add up the hospital stay and the post care because you got to stay there a week. Even if you get a cheap hotel and you're just laying in bed going, um, it was almost $100,000. And then I had corrective surgery, which was another 20 or $30,000. And I'm gonna go have this other surgery. That may be another 20. You know, we're banging up some bucks here. I mean, we're probably talking 150, $180,000. And so, um, you know, uh, it's this is a lifelong process. Now, luckily, I have insurance, and I've kind of try to time it so I meet my deductible. So therefore, I'm only responsible for a fraction. In the years that I do this, I would go for I would pay more per month so that I hit my deductible sooner, and I would also have a lower max out of pocket for that year. And so you kind of have to think ahead when you're going to have your surgery. Maximize everything to your savings. And like I said, I think the first surgery was like $80,000. Okay, but I had hit my first tier deductible, and so I was only responsible for 10% of that, me personally. So 80,000 went to 8,000. Okay, and then I had a 6,000 maximum out of pocket, so that 8 went to 6. And as you might imagine, that surgery wasn't the only thing I did that year. I mean, I have my medication, therapy, vision, dental, everything else. So I had already, about halfway done that 6. So therefore, I was only responsible for 3. So we went from $80,000 to 3. So don't let the numbers get you down. Maybe I should have prefaced that and say, don't let the numbers get you down. You just got to you got to plan ahead a little bit and be ready. And again, with the understanding that you might have to have corrective surgery, and I know of 3 people that have had the orchiectomy, um, and have had complications and have had to go back a couple times. So, um, don't think it's one and you're done. I guess is the bottom line. And that really is just about it. I'd like to get bigger breasts too, eventually. Eventually. When you start thinking about surgery, you're like, oh, I could fix this and do that. But if you saw me in profile, Well, let's do this. uh, Sorry, I didn't do that right. Anyway, if you saw me in profile, it's my head. Here's what little breasts I have, and this is my belly. Okay, my belly far exceeds my breasts, and I think what you would expect. Now, I'm gonna draw. Okay, what you would expect. Well, the light's gonna mess that up. Sorry. You would just expect a little more of a curve on the bottom. There'd be just a little more of a just a little more. And I know I've got the pads and shit like that, but I don't want to mess with that. And I'm gonna lose weight anyway. But so that's kind of in my mind too. And this is like what year 5 or 6 for me. So I mean, whatever. Now, granted, I've been off estrogen for over a year and a half, so a lot of that tissue's been recycled. So maybe well, that's okay. I can wait. We got the rest of our lives. I know we want it now. We want it now. We want it now. But that's just not the way life works. Um, that's just not the way life works. So anyway, so that's my update, and I wish everyone. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're not. I know there are days that I look at stuff's going on around us, and a lot of states. I found out my own state of Indiana has 2 anti-trans bills on. And I'll put a link in the just in the a link down below to the page that lists it state by state all the anti-trans legislation. And what I'm going to do is write a letter to my Congress folks and the governor and let them know, like my friend Dawn did as a constituent. I'm a trans woman. I vote and I disagree with this. Blah 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 blah. And you know, the good thing, if there is such a good thing, is that, and there is that the president and the current administration has got our back. And I think what'll happen is, like in the case of Mississippi this week, they passed this anti-trans law. You just need someone to come along and take it to federal court. That's what happened. And I forget the state. I want to say Arkansas. They passed an anti-trans rule, and within months, somebody took it to the federal court, and the federal court said, this violates da 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 of da 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 da, and the you know the it was they couldn't enforce it, and I think that's probably going to happen once or twice, and then states will kind of be a little more, politicians are still going to beat their breasts, oh, can you believe this is an affront to our religion and da da. I mean, they're going to appeal to their base, a lot of saber rattling, I guess. We're fighting for the children, for protect girls, from these predators. Um, and I think that's still going to happen. But the federal court is just going to be like, I'm sorry, you can't do it. It's against federal law. And we are the United States of America, and yes, you are a state, but goes against federal law. My hope is we'll get the Equity Act through, and then again, that would be more, this violates the Equity Act or whatever. The other thing that the president can do, which I think he would be leery of right now, but I think in time he will. Right now, President Biden, if you're not in the know with President Biden, he's doing something really cool. He's um, he's testing the waters with some progressive things, but he's doing it in a way that doesn't draw attention to it. And anyway, let's not get there. Uh, so anyway, so again, uh, you know, because the president is saying, no, the law of the land is you can't discriminate, da 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 da. So again, I see that kind of on the horizon. Um, but I think there's some other things that are going to come, And President Biden's been really smart about it, really smart about it. And we'll see if that bears some fruit in the future. But the other thing is, every day that passes, um, the old the old way of thinking becomes more and more asinine. You know, I read there was a story on NPR about um, in the late '60s, like 1968. Okay, before we landed on the moon, there were rules in the United States, federal rules, that you know people were losing their jobs because they were gay. People were, you know, and it talked, and I forget the state. I think it was Massachusetts. Um, Parents could literally abandon their kids, and it was a study in one that where it happened, because the boy was gay, the child was gay. The parents turned him over to the state, like he was a stray dog or something, and it was perfectly acceptable, because he was gay. The parents disowned him. They abandoned him. They didn't want him anymore. And he became somewhat the state's responsibility. And, you would say that's barbaric and criminal and a bunch of other things today. But, um, 50 years ago, it's hard to believe it's 50 years ago, 70s, um, it was the norm. And so I think every day that passes, we get closer and closer to where we'll be in the future, okay, where it'll be like, what do you mean? Why do you want to keep trans people out of da 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 da? Well, what do you mean? Why? In other words, the things that you hear, the saber rattlings and everything, that is going to become as anachronistic as abandoning your child because they're gay. The federal government, because of security clearances. Again, if you were a contractor and they found out you were gay, you would be disbarred. You'd lose your security clearance, you'd lose your job, and you would go on a do not hire list. Okay, because you were gay. 1968. Okay, and again, we look at that and go, it's barbaric, it's criminal, it's stupid here. And I think that's what's going to happen in the next. That's going to be the next paradigm shift that we're going to go through. We're going to have non-binary and trans fluidity as the norm. People are just they're not going to give a fuck. You know, so what? You know, and you're going to have the saber rattlers are like, but we got to protect the children, and the person's going to be like, I am protecting the children, my children, from you because you're a bigot or you're prejudiced or you're a xenophobe. And like I said, it's going to flip on them, and they're going to be the weird ones. They're going to be the outsiders, and just through natural attrition, they're just going to die off, and they're going to die off, and they're going to die off. Again, that day is coming. It's unfortunate that it's not right now, but we just gotta persevere and press on. And again, like I said, we really don't have to do anything. The genie's out of the bottle. We just have to wait for the other people to, die off, be educated, have a soul, some compassion, um, you know, those kinds of things. So I think that's coming. I think if it's not here already, it's coming. You know, I think about the little girl who got kicked out of her school because she said she had a crush on another girl, and the school was, we're expelling you, and the parent was like, the mother was like, well, why? And she said, well, she said she had feelings for this other girl, and the mom was like, and so, that attitude is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and wider and bigger and bigger. And like I said, those islands of hate are just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Someday, uh, I wish no ill upon him, But someday Mitch McConnell's going to die just through natural causes. Um, you know, unless he's going to do what Walt Disney did, and freeze himself for a couple years, hoping that they'll find a cure for being an asshole. But you know, people pass. It's just reality. And eventually one day, you know, heart attack, old age, he's going to die. You know, and like I said, things change. Things change. Um, yeah. All right. I've blabbled on enough. Good luck to you in becoming your authentic self as you define it. Um, I firmly believe in that. Definitely a individual. I'm an individual like everyone else. I'm unique like everyone else. All right. All right. Till next time. Good luck to you, my friends. Peace.